Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening or good afternoon. Welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm Fakir Abdulaziz, serving as your host, with the true focal point of our show is always Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, the messenger prophet of the Lord Ahezaah, as well as our great voice off camera, Holy Grandmother Rabbi Saleem. Along with me as well is my brother, Adam Hanif Saleem. May Ahezaah's peace and all the blessing be within and about your presences. I'd like to express that greeting as well to our television audience, as well as our studio audience. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within and about your presences.
He got that off quick because I guess at the end of the first portion of this show, because we on part 2, he was talking so slow, and I guess he ran out of time. Now he's like,
we'll have to see what happens at the end of this show right here, when we vent out once again. But what we were talking about on last week's show was serving Lord L. And the Lord L, and in its name, Ahezaah, the given name for this new coming age and the passing age, which you represent, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, as the messenger, the spokesperson of this day, of the Supreme Lord of all worlds and all time. The A.H.A.D community was a focal point in that conversation. I don't know if we'll continue with that if you like to address it.
It's part 2, so why not? But I would like to know, just right off the top of your head, like, what's your position on this whole thing that we've been talking about? People not putting their faith up front and not putting their work or their faith in their work and putting their work up front for the love of the commandments of Ahezaah. Not the will, but the love of the commandments. Not the words, the wisdom, but the commandments of Ahezaah, because there's a difference.
Well, a personal trauma, personal experience, and encountering and speaking with you some time ago about the merits of what the community can do, what as far as work, going out. I remember I was quite the arguer on behalf of the individuals in the community. It can't be that. That's what they're all believers. They all took hands in the face of the world. They've got to want to do. You also said that the devil is a very, very, very slick character. Very slick, and it can get to the best of the people, hiding itself from it being you, as it was said last week. That is actually a person that sounds like you, looks like you, smells like you, thinks like you. And my comment is that you have to surrender completely to Ahezaah. Acknowledging that even if you're not even a surrenderer, you got to stand back and effectively bear witness against yourself, not being truly committed in that. Going out and trying to work, personally, in my experiences, you get worn down after a while, and you get taken right along with them, and you can literally stand back and see your spirits going down. But that's no excuse, because you can't worship anyone who's rejecting it. You can't follow them, because that's following another Lord. And that's just good talk, and I recognize that's just talk.
I remember what you're talking about some years ago when I first met you. You disputed my ways. You disputed my arguments. You disputed the wisdom of Ahezaah because you could not see Ahezaah talking to me. You couldn't hear Ahezaah talking to me. And you had quite a few excuses for yourself, which you applied to the people. And I told you, you excusing them because you excusing yourself. And Ahezaah gave you an office. He said, okay, you lead this group. And after, I think by the next year, he was talking the same way I was talking.
You didn't tell me about that automatic paddle that's in the office that constantly,
And but for the love of the world, man, people just they just fall. For setting up equals with Ahezaah, they just fall, And it's an ugly scene. It's an ugly scene because it's like people often try to judge themselves and judge others when they have no right, no right to do it. Ahezaah is the right, and it's the righteous. You see how people run around saying they want to be with the righteous, and they are the righteous. Our community is the righteous community. No. That Ahezaah alone is the righteous. This alone can only be right. The righteous. Perfectly right. You see? Now, everybody else has to take from it. Has to take from the righteous in order to be of the righteous. They're not the righteous, because if they were the righteous is the one that is everything. It knows everything. It has no weaknesses, no imperfections. Right is right. Completely. That's right. So no creature is right. Completely. Alone. Huh? And Ahezaah gives not any one creature all its being. It don't give no one creature all the attributes of its being. All the creatures in the universe and all creation in the universe holds its attributes. But for all we know, it has attributes outside of creation, which we will never know. And by experience, because it's outside of creation, where they say all of creation came from nothing. No thing that can be identified. No thing that can be known. No thing that is active on this side of creation. On the positive side of the one. Huh?
So profound, Lord. What we would. That's what.
You talked about, the work that has to be done in the community and the submitting totally to become of Ahezaah. Like, people need to realize that all that comes from Ahezaah. Like, you can't do it yourself. You're not going to be able to get it for yourself. It comes from the begging of Ahezaah to make you a certain way, and the results of that will come from Ahezaah.
You need three things. You need three things. I mean, you need more than three things, but three of the major things you need is what in your submission? Do you know?
You need to be empty.
Yes. It's not you need to be empty, because you're not going to be empty until you get to the Christ. It's going to empty you out. The light of the Christ, the essence, the power of the crusher, is going to empty you out. You're going to go there with something, but you're going to be empty. But you got a desire to be empty, and you got to strive in emptying yourself out, because the less you take with you to that light, the better off you'll be. But no one can actually empty themselves out. But this is our attempt. Okay, it's just like in meditation, they say think of nothing. How can you think of nothing? That's something. But what could you take a guess? Take a guess. You.
Sincerity.
Sincerity? Okay, let me give it to you. You need sincerity on the tongue combined with sincerity in the heart. So that's the mind and the heart working together with patience. So many people run out of patience that they cannot gain knowledge, faith, deliverance, integrity, reasoning, all these other things that come in time with patience, because they look at the Lord or the unseen presence of the Lord and his power and say, I want it now. You must not be there. You must not be paying attention to me. I want it now. I act like you said. I've made my prayers. I got my 5 in. What about me? Why are you giving it to that person? Oh, I see how he getting it. I could get it that way too. You ain't doing nothing to him, so I guess I'll be safe because I believe. Then you go out there and you hear the sirens coming. And then you in jail talking about, why me? Well, I don't believe no more. Because if Allah was with me, I wouldn't have got caught. You twisted up, twisted up the commandments, twisted up the truth, twisted up the ideology of Islam, of truth. Huh? Right?
Were you finished?
No, yeah, I'm never finished, but
I just wanted to speak from the point of view of, like, I guess a tainted kid in the community of A.H.A.D. Ever since I was little, I can remember you having to get down on the community. So I could testify to you not being a hypocrite too, and that.
Well, thank you. Praise be to Ahezaah.
Yeah, and I think that where the adults fell short, it made some of the kids lazy, and I'll be a witness to some of us, including myself, being arrogant and thinking we don't need to work for Ahezaah. But I don't want to blame them anymore because I see it as a distraction and keeping me from work because I believe that Ahezaah judges us all individually.
Well, praise be to Ahezaah that you have just acknowledged that you're maturing. You're maturing in recognition that these devils that sits around you and headpieces and kufis and whatever they sit around you in, talking about Allah, 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 or Ahezaah, 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 and some of them say Allah, Allah under their breath, because Ahezaah, even with some of the sisters, Ahezaah gave them a commandment about a certain way to tie their scarves like it did with the Muslims, a certain way to pull their shawls, and some of them refuse to change it. They say, I don't like the way that look. I'm comfortable this way. Comfortable with your way. You see? So you got devils sitting around you, but you recognize that concentrating on them, seeing their gains while they doing evil, is a great distraction for you. So don't concentrate on that. Concentrate on yourself and what you can do to better yourself. And then you bettering yourself, that will better the community. You are part of the community. You make yourself better, you make yourself be of the righteous, then our community is better and we're more of the righteous. It comes in numbers, in degrees, by each individual. Good, thank you. Praise be to our
One thing I recognize is that, and this is for our listening audience as well, is that I only can speak for what I know of this community. But I'm quite sure you have it in other communities.
Well, I want them to know that this here should be shared with all communities, and don't be afraid to take on this ideology, the wisdom of Ahezaah, and apply it to your own self. I just don't like the fact that you got brothers around here saying Astaghfirullah and then using our words.
Right.
And using our understanding, but still saying Astaghfirullah, he ain't right, he this, that, and the other. Got communities of their congregation turning against us while they using our words. Right. Allah's words, Ahezaah's words,
One thing I've taken a heavy notice to is that in this community, and I'm sure, and looking at other communities as well, people think money
is the key. Mm-hmm.
They think work means money.
Mm-hmm.
Not putting things in perspective. And by not putting things in perspective, they have limited Ahezaah to their coins that Ahezaah gives them, and think that they could pay their way, and a lot of times they want to pay their way to keep you from approaching them about righteousness, and I had a heavy awakening with that yesterday too, because even if it goes unnoticed with people, sometimes they may do a thing and you trying to be right, sometimes you latch yourself onto what they have done as an obligation, that you have to be obligated to them because of what they've done, and you lose sight of Allah, because all that they have done should not make you obligated. It should make, it should be what it is. Praise be to Ahezaah, and that's that.
Yes.
So when trying to recognize the work, you have to go beyond the dollars and cents.
And beyond the individuals. Because the work, trust and believe, it's beyond what's in your pocket. Yeah. You have some people who are so hypocritical that when they do a thing, they say, praise be to Allah, and they do that thing for you. But at the same time, they saying praise be to themselves. Look at me. I know they better remember what I did, or look at what I'm doing. So I should get something for this, What happened to praise be to Allah, and why praise be to Allah? Praise be to Allah because it is the doer of what you consider yourself doing. It's doing it through you. That's why I be sure to tell people, especially people that come new, don't think you can buy your way to heaven with me. Don't think you can buy me. You can't buy not one drop of sweat from me. I'm not going to sell that to you. That all belongs to Ahezaah. And know that I realize anything you do of good for me, that you think you're doing for me, know that I realize by Ahezaah's commandments and its will to make me realize that it's all from it. And all praise from me is due to it. And I give it the praise. And that's why I can keep a balance with every kind of people I deal with. I don't care if I have a congregation of 100,000 people. I deal with them all in an equal balance. I'm not caught up. But I understand how you can get caught up. You see things people that do. Allah make you a trial for them, give you pain as a trial for you. Then it gives you something through them, and then that relieves your pain. And then you say, praise be, thank you. Praise be to Ahezaah. No, thank you, Ahezaah. Don't think that I'm thinking Allah's up in heaven like that when I do that. But that's just something we do in the world, right?
Yeah.
And that catches you up, especially when a person hold you to that. Because you got people that hold you to that. We got people in this community, especially one particular sister, no matter what she do for you, she gonna find a way to get it back, even if it comes through somebody else. Count the dollars and the cents and the actions, and remember every single one, because it's not from the heart, it's from the mind. And it's coming with a plot and a plan behind it. I remember I had a wife, man. She would give me something, and I would say, okay, she gonna get this back. Because before I can fully hold it tight, she done got it back and more. Oh, can I? You know what? I need that that 20 I gave you for this, that. And okay, here you go. But I really need $29 because it costs 20. Okay, there you go. I need transportation and this, that, and the other, and there you go. And for her doing that, I done gave her 120 back, huh? And for years. And she act like I can't see that. Because, see, I never fret over that because everything I have belongs to Ahezaah. I let her fake like she doing something for me, and she done faked herself out of paradise. Because she ain't doing nothing for me. Or she wasn't doing nothing for me. Because all the good that you do, Ahezaah said in the Holy Quran, you do it for yourself. Huh? I've had people give to me to take away to see me fall. All kinds of stuff. Thinking that I put my need in that. My need is always in Ahezaah, no matter what it materializes in. I realize it's always in Ahezaah, not in the things. I remember once telling a sister, she was talking about how much faith she had. Oh, I got faith in Allah and blah, 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 blah. And this is when I first met her. I said, you got faith in Allah? She said, yeah. I said, okay, we sitting in this room, we at peace, we talking, you know, about faith in Allah and everything and belief and trust in Allah. I said, if two Doberman pinchers crashed through those windows right there, what was the first thing you do? Man, I scream, I get up out of here, I try to get the heck up out of here. I said, what happened to your faith in Allah? What happened to your faith in Allah? I said, because surely if they bust up in here, the first thing I would think is, oh, Allah. Oh, Allah, because Allah is the power. Allah is the reality. Not, oh, shucks. Oh, I scream and run. And she admitted, no, I would not think about it. I'd be terrified. I said, see, therein lies your faith. In your being terrified. My faith is in Allah. So first and foremost, I would go to it because I understand that it is the creator. El, the creator, that calls itself Allah, which the Muslims call Allah. You see? So she can understand the depth and the difference of having a belief that you have faith and actually having faith. She said her faith was shattered then. I said, no, your misunderstanding was shattered because you didn't have faith at first.
And that and saying about the hard work, I think that in recognizing the hard work that Ahezaah has commanded on the community at A.H.A.D, they would have to go back and recognize what's the hard work. And the hard work is that you try to be right. With Ahezaah Allah. And then Ahezaah Allah will put everything else in place, because when you're not trying to be right with Ahezaah Allah, what else is going to come out right? Yeah. Everything else is going to come out wrong. And it's going to be a continuous thing. We try to take too much shortcuts in life, and which creates a disaster. And what the sad thing is that the disaster, the shortcuts and the manifestation of the disaster has also been clearly shown to the children of this community that have eyes to see. You know, that Allah has gifted to look into. Some children don't see because they're becoming carbon copies of their parents. Yeah. But some children has been gifted to say, wait a minute, this ain't right. You know, so the hard work is that you got to be right yourself to start with the hard work. Yeah. Let me say this here. I'll take one thing away from what you said. Okay. You said trying to be right. And the reason I would take that trying to be right away and tell you to say be right is because African Americans have somehow put a stigma, a spin on trying that does not sit well with me or Ahezaah. You know, trying to them means really not really trying to do the thing. You know, when most of them say I'm trying, they're not really trying. You see, you hardly ever hear me say I'm trying to do a thing except when it comes to working with other people who I have no control over. I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it. You know? And when I strive to do something, that's my trying. I strive to get there to do it. It's either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. That trying to do it is such a seductive and deceitful little thing with African Americans, because they've lost the real meaning of trying. Trying is putting forth truth from yourself in your effort. Because I've heard so many people say, at least try. And nothing beats a failure but a try. You know? And they don't understand that try that. Because when I was young, I said, how will a try can beat a failure?
A try is a failure. You try, but you just tried. But no, a true try is success. When you put your truth to something, you're going to recognize in your striving, okay, is this for me or is this not for me? This is not for me. Because before you try a thing, if you truly have truth, you're going to try it in your mind first. You're going to visualize what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and you're going to visualize your situation and your condition. You see, if you are right with the Lord, not trying to be right, but being right from your heart with the Lord and your mind, because it's going to do what it promised to do, and that's to give you true insight, reasoning, grace in what you're doing. You know, for it. But if it's for yourself, there's the fault. And that's the thing. Most people, they talk the show of religion, so-called religion, and they live the show of the devil. You know? Everything is falling short, and they think that it's all right to do a thing and then go and repent. Oh, the devil got them. Come on Saturday and confess, or Sunday, or whenever they confess. Come and confess. You confessing to a man as though that's the Lord Most High, as though the Lord Most High don't know what you're doing. Huh? And you supposed to be absolved from what you've done for doing this.
Like they used the word trying. Look, the back way out, the back out of it, have a back way out. You would think someone's going to confession, knowing that, okay, I'm getting that confession off, but I got Monday through Saturday to load up for another confession. Or
and it's like inshallah with some people.
I was getting ready to
It's
say
like
the same thing.
Yeah, I'm coming, inshallah. Inshallah means if it's the Lord's will. You don't have to say inshallah if it's the Lord's will, because everything done is the Lord's will.
Right.
Huh? You better off to say, if you're sincere, hopefully I'll be there. Because everybody knows it's the Lord's will, but they have put that special spin on it, like the African Americans put trying, the African Americans put on inshallah. I'm not really going to do that, but I did say inshallah. They can't charge me because I said if Allah wills. Well, Allah willed that you went and did your evil, you completed your deceit, but you got to get us out of here. Cause,
and with that thought, we're going to sign up to our Brooklyn audience. Please come back next week for another
Who of you want to do things right?
moment.
To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you